Here's the one place I do want to start. And I'm glad that Justin Fields had what I think we could call a pretty good showing. Couple of picks still in there. You can't take the interceptions away. He does need to improve on the interceptions because at the end of the day, listen, you have an interception a game that's 17 interceptions. That's not good, right? And it's not what I want to see him do. Now, listen, if you go like 45-17, all right, that's very different. But an interception a game, push you behind the 8 ball. It's not what I want to see for Justin Fields. And I think he has the weaponry to be a lot more efficient quarterback right now. But we have to, I love that he had this day because to me, the Justin Fields hate has absolutely gotten out of hand. Like, this is actual hate now. You know what? You know when you give a breakdown, when you give an analysis of a guy, right? Like, oh, I think that this is this and this is what. But like what I saw after Saturday's game is pure hate because you hated on this man for going out there and being able to put up 2 touchdowns when he has weapons on the field by passing the football. Oh my God, he didn't have enough air yards. I can't believe that we didn't get to see more air yards out of him, right? You got 129 yards out of him, 2 touchdowns on the day, no interceptions, only 3 passes. I get it. Only 3 passes, but you have a weapon right here in DJ Moore that has an ability to catch the ball and take off. And we're going to criticize Justin Fields for utilizing that weapon. We're going to criticize you. This is all I keep hearing all over Twitter. It's the air yards. He didn't throw anything. He threw it behind the line of scrimmage. What was your complaint last season? Oh, my God. He didn't have anyone to throw to, so he used his legs. What are y'all crying about? At this point, you're literally just upset that the Chicago Bears might have an actual quarterback. You're literally, if you know what it feels like they're scared of what we are going to become if we finally get a quarterback. Think about how rabid we've been. Think about how rabid we've been with a defense and a running game. And now you're going to give us a quarterback? Right? Like, that's the part that I'm sitting here. I'm like, y'all really just hating to hate. And I keep seeing it. And so for me, right, I love that Justin Fields comes out and has the day like he has today, because to me, it goes to show you, boom, versus other defenses, you know what he's doing? He's still hitting the passes over the middle. He's still hitting Robert Tonyan. He's still hitting DJ Moore. He's still hitting Darnell Mooney. He's still hitting these guys. When Chase Claypool comes back, he's still going to be able to hit him over the middle. And yeah, listen, there's going to be things that we're going to nitpick. There's going to be things that we're going to take away. As Bears fans, y'all know how we do. We look into something, we be like, hey, man, I don't know about that. I don't like that. I don't like how this went. I don't like how the ball placement on it. It's like there was one deep ball that he threw in practice last week. And Tyler Scott breaks open. He's wide open, throws the deep ball. Tyler Scott had to slow down. He threw the ball 60 yards. You know what my criticism was? Underthrew him a little bit. He put up a 60-yard pass. I underthrew him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where you're going to nitpick because that's what we do when we watch our teams closely. But my God, it is one of those things at this point where the national media has nothing else to say. They don't know what he's going to be. And all they can do is go, but he only won 3 games last year. Well, how about we look at scenario? How about we look at what Justin Fields' position has been? How about we look at and see the fact that, right, he had the 3rd highest QBR after week 7, that he had an offense that was putting up 25 plus points a game after week 7, and he was the one that was putting all that up, and his best wide receiver on the team was Equanimeous St. Brown. Context matters. Let's have that conversation. How about we open our minds to the fact that 2 things can be true? The Chicago Bears were a bad football team and Justin Fields improved. I swear to Lord that there's so many people that just don't believe that this can be true and this can be true at the same time, because if both of these things are true, that means that everything I've said in my history means I'm a moron. Like, it blows my mind how often 2 things can't be true. Blows my mind. And so for me, right, like I'm looking at this scenario now where Justin Fields is starting to take these strides, and I love that we're seeing this versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now, granted, listen, the Colts defense didn't start to force Buckner. He wasn't in pads today. Still leaves a lot to be desired. I wasn't out there putting my eyes on it myself to see how the first team offense is. I'm also, just talking to the people that we have that are down there and are reporting on what we saw and the different things that we can take away from the game. But at the end of the day, you're seeing a quarterback grow before our very eyes. And the national media can't stand it. And it's not just the national media. There's some people around around Chicago that are just like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it when I see it. And I'm fine with the I believe it when I see it, but I still hold the same question. What are you waiting to see? Because all I'm waiting to see at this point, I don't have questions on what Justin Fields can do. You want to know what I saw Saturday that told me everything I know and what I'm seeing in these joint practices that's telling me everything I need to know? And hit that like button if you agree. Justin Fields is throwing the short routes, and the short routes now have weapons that can turn those short routes into plays that go for 10, 15 yards. You want to know what I knew Justin Fields can do? He can throw a deep ball. He could do it at Ohio State. He did it last season. He can do it this season. And now he's got weapons that can get to the deep ball. So my question was, what are you going to do with the intermediate? What about the short game? What about the underneath? All we've seen all training camp, Chase Claypool when he was healthy, Cole Kmet, Robert Tunyon, Mercedes Lewis, the little bit that he got in, underneath, check down plays, safety blanket, that play that you end up seeing to Khalil Herbert, where Justin ends up rolling out left and throws the ball to Herbert, and the play ends up breaking down. Boom. Short stuff underneath. Play goes for what was it? What was Herbert's? Herbert's was 45 yards or 50 yards, I believe, something like that, where it ends in a touchdown. My question was the underneath plays, because the underneath plays set up the deep play, because all of a sudden now the defense says, crap, they keep killing us with these underneath throws. We got to play up. And you know what they're going to do at the beginning of the season? They're going to play up because they're scared of Justin Fields running. That opens up the game for you to go down the field. And I know that DJ Moore, there's not a DB that's going to be able to cover DJ Moore one-on-one. You're going to have to bring the safety help over the top, and that opens up things for everyone else on the rest of the field. The hate on Justin Fields at this point is just to be hateful. There's a line. There's criticism of the game, and there's hate. Your criticism of his game last season was he's not. Now, Shady Mccoy is different, right? Shady McCoy is a different kind of hate, because Shady McCoy, even last season, said, if I'm Justin Fields' wide receivers, I'm upset with him because he's the reason that we're not getting the ball, even though that we saw a bunch of different times where the football went straight through receivers' hands or the receiver cost us a game. But, the truth, who needs any of that, right? But for me, when I look at what we saw from, or at least when I hear Shady McCoy's point, right? Like, he can kind of still stand on his, because he said Justin Fields was the problem with his wide receivers, not the wide receivers were the problem with Justin Fields. And so he's going to come into this season and say, I still need to see if Justin Fields is the problem or if the wide receivers are the problem. So at least Shady, and I know Muzz like that. Shady loves to hate on the Bears. I know that Shady, like, he wishes for the failure of most players, and he likes to be very clickbaity. And I think they're literally paying him to be the guy that's just out there being very vocal and yelling, and like the whole Dak is all of that, right? Like all of that. Yeah. So it is what it is. But to me, outside of that moronic point to me, I look at Justin Fields haters at this point and say, you're just hating because you really don't like something personally about him. And you need to figure out what that is. Or you don't like something personally about the fans. One or the other. Let me know what it is in the comments below. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. D'Estrada says Shady likes to be the bad guy. I do think that as well. Lamont says Shady's just slow. Shady is a moron. A lot of Shady slander up in here. Sports from the Church said he was weak in the league. Now, hold on. Listen, we can hate on him for his sports takes. Shady McCoy was a dog. Shady McCoy had his day. He fell off like every running back falls off. But Shady McCoy was a dog. He had his day in the game, man. So I'm not going to slander Shady on that part. Hey, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. We appreciate you guys for showing love. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel to talk Chicago sports, How Chicago Talk. Monday through Friday, we do a daily show. Normally, it's between the hours of about 5 to 6 or 6 to 7. But today wanted to go a little bit later because I wanted to be able to do a live reaction of what we saw at joint practice and talk about some of our takeaways from that Titans game and heading in to this Colts game. Let's jump into this topic here. And here's my question to the chat, and I want to get you guys feedback on this. Let me know how you guys feel. I'll react to some of the comments as well. Where's your level of confidence in your starting running